This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. It's going to be a short stream, but it's going to be a good stream. We're talking about the New York Open. Just to remind you, Tesla is off the mark, guys, in terms of where we want 250 up and over out of that bull flag. It looks like NVDA is off a bit of a soft open here for New York for some of the assets that we do pay attention to, but Bitcoin is the number one asset that we trade and focus on, guys. We don't focus on securities for the most part, unless it's a pattern we want to look at. Let's look at Bitcoin and the fact that we were very, guys, solidly focused on one specific thing. We were going to be bullish over, bearish under, right? What was the specific, well, where were we at 44,000 was the critical over, under. As we saw the drop yesterday, let's remind exactly that 44,000 over and 44,000 under. The big, guys, congratulations on catching the short. You didn't have to worry about, we're moving to the upside, we're moving to the downside. What did we catch? We caught the short because why? We were focused on reinforcing the bullish would have required over the specific $44,000 level. We were bearish, parked in shorts, guys, boom, below. Very nice to see this level of a move really matching that top level move, guys, to the upside here. The preceding amplitude gain here is just about the same as the drop here. So we made it a little quicker on this side of the equation. The fact that we have trajected with a bit of a grind to the downside is a nice move down. Let's go into some of the technical features right now on the larger time frames. Let's take a look at what's going on. In terms of the bottom side band of the 8 hourly has just contacted. That's a nice cross under on Bitcoin, the 20 moving average, and bam, hit to the downside. Nicely done, way to trade. And looking at the volatility, we came down, guys, in contact with the specific fire sale line. We crushed through a lot of those specific lines. You guys know that in terms of the, let me hit my mic real quick, but in terms of the lower level functions, let's look at the daily real quickly. Let's look at the daily in terms of that 20 moving average. And we're going to revisit some of the features here. Let's go through and we'll go through some of the upside targets that we have been looking at or for. In terms of the actual lines to the wicks, you guys know we were in a zone. Let's clean this chart up a little bit and review exactly where we're at. Remember, we had the wicks, okay? Then we had the lines in terms of the trajected targets to the upside. Let's revisit this on BTC USD index. So let's look at this in terms of a low to a high. I'm going to stretch this out and maximize this out from the absolute very low. I'm going to go to the absolute very high. This was a quick draw. This was not the one we went off of, but I want to go from the absolute very low, absolute very high, and where were we at? That looks a little bit more like what we were looking at on the lines, that 786 completion. Okay, so we were 80% of the guys to target, 80% of the way to target based on the lines. We had some more aggressive targets to the upside, slightly more aggressive on the candle wicks. You guys know that. If we were to really stretch this up and really get ultra aggressive all the way, guys, to say you got 80% of the way to target thus far on the specific lines is a good thing. And we're just matching up about the same, guys, at 786. Remember that 44,000, about 700 we marked in at that 44 for the specific reason to see if we can get up to the 48,000, or really that next stop would have been 45, what was that, about 45.9, to the extent that we were looking for a power move up for additional, what is this, guys, up about 8%. The important thing is locking and loading on the following rationale. We were at a point. Did you, can you, will you say if we're long, guys, if we're, let's say, up and over a threshold, we're long. If we're down and under a threshold, boom, we're short. This provided you a maximized take here in terms of a move. It was a beautiful move. Look at it over, guys, over almost 9%. Let's say about just right at 9%. It was a great drop to catch. I'm really excited that you all caught the drop, that we were focused on that strategy. It is the VIP way to be. Congratulations to everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. We certainly did. Let's take a look at some of the technical features in terms of the cap line, the 20 moving averages. Let's take a look at possibly some momentum components as well, and what we're really facing immediately is a bit gun shy here in terms of the 20 moving average on the daily. Bitcoin did not want to pick up the orders, they were waiting. You guys know we don't necessarily like to see this on the assets that we trade, do we? It's just we would really prefer to see an actual hit on the 20 moving average. So that's a little bit troublesome. Okay, I'm just going to say it's a little bit troublesome to the point that the market refused to allow you to pick up your guys to get your orders picked up, and you could be sitting on a nice profit right now. 4% to the upside. That's a drop we expect, right when we were looking at a red cap line in terms of the top side function. It's just the traders are looking right now at the fact that maybe they haven't been treated quite so fairly in this zone. So we're going to note that. That's not something that we're going to ignore. There's no need for us to ignore it. If it happens, and it happens on our watch. So we're watching. We want to see. Now, what was the differential here on USD? I want to go to USDT just to see how far of a difference it was, because as you look at higher amounts of leverage, clearly these add up, guys. Looking at about a $200 difference? It's going to depend upon the exchange that you're at. But to say, no, we're going to require you to play 0.5% to the upside, so 0.56% to the upside. Very, guys, noteworthy, about $225 or so to the upside. We just expect a real hit. You can't tell me in the market that orders weren't waiting at the 20. You just can't tell me that orders weren't waiting at the 20. So the fact they don't want to hand the cash out when there's a sale in the market, where's the cash going, guys? The only question is, if they're not going to pay out these guys, who's picking up right here? Who's getting the sweet deal? It's the only question you have when you see an asset behave like this. Who is in the pecking order to get the sweet deal instead of the traders? So that's why I bring that up, because that's a place where orders were waiting on that daily 20 moving average. So in terms of just a bit, we're gonna adjust with the over under. We take the 4 to 8% drop. We're happy with it, but who just cashed out here? We don't want to have to wake up when the market opens in New York and look at our asset and say, well, I wonder who cashed this one out. It's not the way that we choose to operate. I don't want to create an air of suspicion in the market. But when you see this, the number one question to a trader is, well, who got paid? Because the rest of us didn't at the 20 moving average. And that's not the type of asset nor the type of market that we like to see reinforced. You guys have been around a long time. We've been around a long time. I say all the time, I really appreciate everyone who makes these trades possible, right? Absolutely. I don't appreciate anyone who made that trade impossible. That's the bottom line. I don't think anyone would disagree with me. And if they, to the extent that they would try and make it a trade impossible for anybody, I think that's beyond someone not doing their job. I think that would be problematic on some other fronts. Now, let's take a look at, we'll take the good with the bad a bit, but we'll definitely note it, and we're not going to sit here and just play ring around the rosy with the words and verbiage on it, guys. There's no need to. We expect liquid markets. We expect technicals that reinforce logic. If there's a 20 moving average on the daily time frame, we expect it to get hit. If there are orders there, why wouldn't there? It's a demand function. Who's getting cut out of the equation and why? Who's getting cut into the equation? It's a big deal, guys, in terms of that. There's a lot of money made under the wraps, and we want to make sure that it's a liquid market, and we're looking at solid technicals and what we trade, and it's Bitcoin. And so let's just continue to reinforce and analyze the technicals. Looking at the specific altcoins, you guys see a lot of pour down. INJ surprisingly doing well. Brought that to VIP. Congrats to anyone who chose to trade that. I want to reinforce right now as we look at the over under. Let me go ahead and just kind of show the range here. And what I'll say about an over-under strategy is you're looking at like, well, we're bullish over, we're bearish under. I'm long over, I'm short under. Okay, as we were to look at the levels that are in play, let me zoom in so we can really take a look at this so you can see the specifics in terms of a 44.5, 44, and a 43.5, right? We precedingly had 40,000, right? You guys remember it was up and over 40 was bullish. Now that really even parked into, these increments are set at about 500 up and above. If I were to drop these and we were to go every specific $500 increment to the downside, we could do such and trade each interval to the downside. We prefer to back off a little bit, right? We prefer to have moves that would generate, we're going to be looking at the cost to operate between each zone to reinforce a long or short, over or under a price threshold. And we're going to be dealing in that equation with the expected move, the probability of the move to the next level, and the cost at that level. Can we move beyond? There's all types of variable considerations that we're going to look at. When Bitcoin really moves, she really moves. You know that. So the payday that occurred here, it happened quickly enough as well that honestly it did create some cash. Okay, so to the extent that that was a positive feature and that we were short, no problem. The most important thing that we can take away, aside from question, I don't want you to get in a bad mood about the technicals on Bitcoin. She moves, she's volatile. It's what we want in the market. True? Yes. If you missed this short, fix it. If you missed this short, try and fix it. Try and fix it to the extent that you feel comfortable, it's within your skill set. If you didn't hit in a short and you weren't long over, short under 44, if you weren't, guys, try and pick up your next price basis, your next threshold. Try it. Try to execute long over, short under. When I see traders who caught this, boom, boom. Guys, we caught this. It was a nice move. Short under the 44, okay? It makes a world of difference if you're trying to give yourself, and what happens? This is what happens, guys. When you look at all the red on the screen right now, this was green 2 days ago, wasn't it? And it wasn't this, it wasn't as green as it is red. You know that. If you're looking at the exact details in terms of some of the moves of some of these altcoins, etc., we can take a look real quickly at Solana. Solana is an interesting one. I was long over 66. Now 66 was high. Could have at any point been long over any of these other specific levels, but long over 66 paid well. You guys know that. Giving yourself a threshold entry changes everything that you see, guys, the way that you see and interact with the market. If you looked at the 66, small hiccup at 66. And guys, it was a run up of 18%. Very nicely done. Now, as you were to work your way up from 66, you better believe it. You're going to have what? You're going to establish, and this happens all the time in crypto because it moves so quickly, you're going to establish a new over-under, okay? You're going to establish a new line that you want to enforce long over, short under. I don't know any better way to protect yourself if you were to look at the psychology of the market, and particularly of altcoins, particularly of guys, cryptos that are moving, that can create so much cash if they will continue to go to the upside. That's the big deal, if. And all the traders pin their hopes and dreams on a directional continuation and move. But the problem is, when you're involved in something like this, and first of all, you see 18% from 66. 66 sounded so conservative, didn't it? It's like, man, you don't even want to get in lower. I don't mind getting in lower. What did this do? This took forever, didn't it? This took a long time. I like the trades to move. I like velocity. It had a chance of being a breakout move to conquer this preceding level of resistance, about 68. So give it a chance at 66, up through 68, and boom, we got a breakout. That's when cash is moving. That's when it's not taking all your time, 8 days in here. It's all right to stay in a trade for 8 days, but I want the trade that's going to last a couple minutes, couple hours maybe, right? Maybe a few days. But looking at this, boom, the breakout. That's what we want. So, but as you are coming into contact with crypto assets and you're arriving late to the game, it's a jackpot mentality. You guys know this. It's like, which one's going to fly today? Is there a real technical reason why INJ is up? Maybe, guys. Okay, maybe there's a fundamental reason. Maybe. You guys know it's like chasing shadows around here, right? It's a jackpot mentality. So when you're getting in late at all to any of these, if you're able to take a liquid position, the guys need some liquidity. If you're able to decide, determine, discipline yourself, fine. I missed the 66 and I'm going to go ahead and participate. But when I get involved in this, when I decide to trade this, bam, there's my line in the sand. That's it. Now it's based on some projected target, fine. Let's say I have an inverse head and shoulders. You can scope it out in terms of if I've got some sort of a bottoming cup, let's say a cup and handle formation. There we go. 786. Let's say I wanted to scope right at the 50 or right at the golden pocket. Let's say the golden pocket. Over is long, under is short. Does it want to rip up another 20+%, guys, from where it's come? It's made a great move this year. It's done very well. But looking at that, discipline yourselves. Please don't get hurt by these days. There's no reason to. There's no reason you can't make money on the way down on these. And you're going to do one of two things. You're either going to continue to hit into these as they're dropping and be convinced that it just has to keep going up. And you're looking for the next 20% day, right, to the upside, the next 20% green day. Or, bam, you decide I'm long over, short under. You're long over, short under here, and you pick your, guys, pick your price on whatever you're looking at. Doge has been, what, 10 cents? 10 cents has been a great level for Doge. ETH has been what? ETH was 2,100, right? You guys know ETH was 2,100. What happened with ETH? It came back down to 2169, 2160. Yeah, 2159 to be precise. Hey, look at this. It's like, well, all of my gains just disappeared. No, guys. Why? Because you're hitting into over-unders. Let's just see how well it technically behaved itself just on a basic level here. What are these here? The 23.6, the 38.2 on a quick draw. What is this? The 23.6 is an over-under. Dig into the lower time frames. Find out whether or not we're going to head up to this higher level. Catch it, right? Then this is what? This higher level is what? It's another threshold that has to be beaten. You can say, well, I can't trade an over-under. Guys, if you can't trade an over, you can't trade a breakout in the market. So every time you trade a breakout, you're trading an over-under. You're picking a specific level and saying, I'm going to participate up and over that level. We're only changing the equation, and you don't have to change the equation, but to understand, you're able to participate in half the equation if you choose to. Fine. At the 38.2, I'm long over $2,387. The 38.2, and I got a stop loss. Boom. I'll participate from here to the next level. You got it. And then what's the next level? That's your next hurdle. Okay? To the extent that there's so much momentum, you don't even have time to think straight, and bam, we're up to the full completion. Hey, no problem. No problem. Fantastic. That's a 15, 16% day for Ethereum. Those rarely happen. They rarely happen for Ethereum. So as we just refocus, I wanted to welcome you all to the new trade week. Congrats. We got some softness in NVDA and Tesla. New York, we pay attention to it because we get some volatility, though that's not what we're lacking in crypto right now. So looking at the short under, whoever caught the move, congratulations, guys. Congratulations. It's a sweet drop. Nice short. Now, the question is this. Do you have your over under? We've got it. We got it in the back in terms of our new threshold level. You guys, we've got it in the back. How are you going to put together your over under? How are you going to decide the next level? If you missed the bottom, it's not on you guys. The 20 moving average on the daily, it just ripped out the hearts of the traders. It really, really did, didn't it? Unjustly so. Looking at that daily attempt at the pickup at the 20 moving average, that's just ripping the hearts out of the traders. There's no need for that. Not a classy move. We agree? Not a classy move for traders who have focused all year long and count on the technicals. Don't give me a bridge, guys, like this. That's not what we want to see. That's a bit suspicious. So in terms of that, I want to re-encourage you, though. Let's just re-encourage. You got an opportunity for a take on the short? Yes, you did. You banked some cash? Yes, you did. So it's not all for naught, but we'd like to be able to participate in every side of the equation legitimately, that we have the technical reinforcement to be able to participate in, guys. You know that. So what we're looking at now is a level at, let's go ahead and mark it. You guys want to call it out, 42. Let's do 42? Yeah, 42. Let's do 40. Let's just bridge it out at 41, and let's go 40. Let me do 41, 42, 43. So they'll 41,000, 42,000, and 43,000. And in terms of this, all I'm doing is putting some specific markers on the chart that represent price levels that we're going to operate around, with 42 being the primary objective immediately. Why? We're right on the 42. So I want some sort of a visual display that we can discuss and say we have a price, guys, threshold at 42 Meaning what? To the extent that we're up and over 42, okay, to the extent that we're up and over 42, we're going to be long. To the extent that we're down and under 42, we're going to be short. With the understanding of what? And this is just a good trade day, with the understanding that as we grind along and we swing along, the challenge is going to be, I want to pick up profit in this zone on swing trades. And I also want to have a carry trade long and a carry trade short. You got it. Now, what happened before we dropped? We got into some tight, guys, tight business, right? Big time. We really constricted up. You didn't need to look at a tightening Bollinger Band. You didn't need to look at too much at all. It just got tight. On the weekend, we kind of expect that anyway. True, with Bitcoin, this real, just tight, solid grind here, we expect that on the weekend anyway. The potential for return to the upside, just the potential for return to the upside. Every trader who knows what they're doing in Bitcoin right now is looking for the possibility, and I'm going to couch this big time. Big time, I'm going to couch this. This was the first bell pattern formation, expansion of volatility that rocked to the downside, and I was excited that it was, and I was confident that you caught a short down and out of the bell. We look for these expansions of volatility. You know, these guys perform extraordinarily well. Where? They love to recover to this level. They just do. Test it, try it, trade 500 of these. You tell me, how frequently are you getting back up to this line? Very frequently. But the issue is with our 44,000 over under, what did we do? We crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. Awesome trade op. Okay, trade opportunity, guys. In terms of that, boom, to the downside we went. Now, recovery up to this level would be sweet. You guys know that. We would typically trade that almost blindfolded. Do we agree? We would almost trade this blindfolded. You guys agree? We trade them enough, you know. We would almost trade a recovery up and around to the 43.8 blindfolded. Okay, that's about a 4.48, call it a 4.5% rise back to the upside. What is going to be dispositive? The same technique we used long over, short under at 44. We're going to deploy the same technique at the 42,000. Yes. And what are we going to do? If we can get up to our target, this top line threshold, mark that line, guys. That's an important technical line that the traders are paying attention to. The good thing is traders who know what they're doing are what? They're like, well, this is some action to the downside. If she wants to misbehave and not act in line with the probabilities, it's okay. It would be inconsistent with the preceding, guys, number of months, years, et cetera, in terms of Bitcoin and the overall markets. But if we don't get up to this line right now, and I'm glad that you have the strategic advantage, the tactical advantage to look at this move that we caught under, guys. It was over long, 44K, under short, boom. Okay, now looking at the specific possibility for recoup to this move, you guys are no strangers to that. In order for us to get some sort of a bump and run going, this would be the lead in. This would be a bump and boom, we want the run. Okay, classic bump and run. Not maybe, no, classic bump and run, lead in. We need a bump and then boom, we'd get the run. That would be a classic move. The recoup to this level is what people are interested in who trade a lot, period. Trade 500 of these, and you guys understand. You know this, okay? You know this. So the issue is going to be, though, for us, we have a dividing line in the sand. I do not care if we get back here. This is a situation in terms of our strategy. I wasn't concerned with getting up and out of this pattern quickly. I am thrilled that we dropped from the 44, being short under 44, and I want to deploy the same tactic in terms of the 42,000. Let's go get it, guys. It is another great trade week. Excited that we caught the move, and I'm excited about, guys, closing out the fourth quarter. I want to reignite a little bit of motivation in you. If it's been a slow year, dig in. If it's been a great year, dig in. If you don't feel like digging in, dig in. Yeah, and if you're already there, you're already there. It's a pleasure to have you here. Let's find our levels on the specific cryptos that we're focused on. Okay, let's find the levels and let's not get directionally determined here through the end of the fourth quarter. I want you guys to kill some shorts. You already have. You already have. I don't know who. You understand your predisposition. Well, it's going to go up. When you start deciding, you know this. When you start deciding, and you start guessing. Now, I used to say, stay out of the binary, right? What does that mean? Well, it's either a on or an off. Right? It's either an on or an off. It's either a 0 or a 1. It's either a yes or a no. It's either an up or a down. Now, if you want to play this game with me, okay, and every time I make you guess based on some sort of a quote unquote probability, I'm telling you guys, stay out of the predisposition and capital distribution based upon solely, I think, quote unquote, it's going to go up. All right, I think it's going to go down. If you can completely take this out of the equation and be able to operate long, over, short, under, you're out of that binary, you're out of that up or down equation, because this one you'll get right the first time. You may get it right the second time. If you get it right the third time, you feel like you are inconquerable. True? String 3 of these together. Now, on micro trading, after 100 rounds, when you're digging into high volume and number of trades, you're going to get to where you're booking 3 all the time. I'm talking about on a macro situation, you're projecting into, you guys know this, you're projecting into what are the next several days going to do. And you're getting into your wave count analysis with your cyclical, multi-time frame, guys, across the board from every oscillator you can look at, and all of your divergences computed in, and you're still doing the guesswork of, I think it's going up, I think it's going down. We are going to beat that equation, all right? We're going to get the next 10 of these right, okay? You're going to try and get 3 or 4 or 5 in a row on long, over, short, under. Are we going up or are we going down? You're maybe going to get, guys, the first one, the second one, the third one, you're pretty good at that. You're going to start, the market is good. You know that. The market is good. It doesn't like to be told what to do. So we're going to get the next 10 of these right. We just got this one right. Boom. We're going to get the next 10 of these right. We're going to be long, over, short, under. 42,000 is the line in the sand right now. Whatever you're trading, do not be looking. Don't break your neck, guys, looking up. Don't do it. I'm in here and I'm deciding we're going back up. Don't do it. Pick your line. Reinforce it. Long, over, and short, under. Let this volatility be your friend on the way up. It was at the 66, right? That printed 15, 18%, guys. That was a nice move on Solana. We agree? Same on Ethereum. Ethereum was a nice move up and over our 2100 mark, wasn't it? Just long over 2100. It was a 13% move. You got it right. Let's continue to reinforce, guys, the ability to move in the market, in the direction that the market is moving. And do you realize you're doing that? You realize that you are moving in the direction that the market is moving. Boom. There's a lot to be said for that. Congratulations. I know some of the dynamics of the trading are changing, but as we're working our way up, I got to show you guys one more chart. Let me show you this chart. I can probably, let me see if I can do this. I can probably bring this up. You guys need to see this chart. Let me redraw this real quickly. I'll draw it out on this chart. Let me see if I can get a cleaned up chart. Something I brought to the attention of the VIP in the back. It's a primary level of threshold that we are currently at. Let me see if I can bring up this specific, let me bring up the actual, let me do this. I think it's under derivative gain analysis. We need to talk about a level of resistance that was hit. Let me load this derivative gain analysis. And okay, let me get into the specifics on, let's look at this. Here we go. Now, the level of resistance that has been encountered, as we were to look at let's go to the daily. This is a very important line. I want you to please recognize it. Please recognize this line. Taking your specific parallel channel tool from the lower end to the upper side, okay, from the lower angled dual hit along the bottom on the daily. This is a primary level of consideration right now. True? Yes, we covered that. I just wanted to make sure before we let loose today, you guys had the ability to see this chart. This is an important chart, yeah? That's a primary level of interaction, that parallel carry up from support to resistance. That was the hit. We agree? That was the hit. So let's dig in at 42 the way we dug in at 44, okay? Let's not be convinced we're heading to the upside or heading to the downside. Let's let this flex a little bit. You guys have got a little bit of an additional, trajectory here that we talked about in the back in terms of that curvature that is still in place. Okay, the curvature is still in place and reinforced by the hit to the downside. Take a look at that curvature, get your curvature tool out, and let's see if, and to the extent the big question is going to be, can we reinforce that curvature, right, with that hit down into a very well guided reinforcement of this curvature level here. If you guys will draw that out, you'll see that. And the question is going to be, can we fill this in and continue to push up, or will we collapse through this pattern? So it's incoming volatility is what I see in terms of the pattern, layout, framework, incoming volatility. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. Excited about the moves. Congratulations to everyone who traded. We will talk to you soon, guys. This is a new trade week. Let's go get them. Talk to you soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.